On this week's episode of Make It with Calvin, I'm going to talk about that shelf thing. I'm really not raising the roof, or am I? So a little while back, I posted up some photos for you guys about the cabinet things behind me that hold both of my 3D printers. And I also posted photos of the shelf thing and actually got quite a lot of interest from you guys about it. So in a nutshell, the concept behind it is I don't have a lot of space in my bedroom to store things, especially considering that I have a lot of unused wall space. And being that this house, the house that I live in, is circa 1920s plus-ish. It's pretty old, so the walls are lath and plaster construction, which is not suitable for installing things on the wall. Don't want to do that anyways. But luckily enough, all around the house, especially in my bedroom, is this picture shelf thing. It is not crown molding. It is actually designed for hanging pictures from, which is absolutely ideal for me because it made it very easy for me to create a little hook system that attached to the wall and allowed me to hang the shelf. Now, in the typical spirit of Make It with Calvin, obviously the things at the hardware store were not going to fit the application, so I decided why not create my own mounting plates that had built-in capabilities for adjustments, use 1/8 inch aircraft wire as the supports, if you will, and just use a piece of wood that came pretty much pre-sanded from Lowe's. So the mounting is pretty simple. I will post the links to the files for the mounting plates that are up there. Sorry, it's kind of hard to point at things when it's mirrored on the screen. And to attach the wire to the washers that I use to attach it to the mounting plates and to the board, I ended up silicon bronze brazing the wire to a washer. I understand this is a chunk of brass. I'll get more into that in just a second. But the bond was actually more than strong enough. I do highly recommend, though, that if you are going to go this route, that you make sure you put a nice fillet of material in there, just to make sure it's strong. I haven't had any real problems. I did break one off, but that's because I was physically trying to twist it and bend it and do things I really shouldn't have, and it pulled off. But then again, the joint didn't have enough on it, so it's no big deal. Now, as for the reason why I have this piece, I was trying to see if it is possible to braze using just a propane and air torch, and the answer is sadly no. You would definitely need something like a MAP gas torch, or in my case, I used an oxyacetylene torch rig, which worked very nicely. If you don't have access to any of those and you don't feel like finding somebody who can do the brazing for you, another potential option is getting some ring terminals that are used for electrical applications and crimping the wire into those. Just do note that I'm pretty sure that those are probably tin-plated copper, so they tend to be a little bit on the soft side, but if you're just hanging up lightweight items, it should be okay. Also, one thing that you could try doing, it depends upon a bunch of factors, is once you've crimped it in there, coming along and applying a little bit of leaded solder to it, but I don't know if that's being a little excessive or not. That's something you have to decide for yourself. If you guys are interested in potentially having pre-made wires done by me, I would consider it. It's just obviously I take no responsibility if things fall down, so I might or might not offer that as an option for you guys. We'll see. When it came to mounting the wire washer assembly to the board, it was pretty simple. I just marked out 2 locations and drilled it, and it went in there. It was actually quite simple once I went ahead and cut all the wires to the same length. I did design the plates so that way it had a little bit of adjustability so I could get the board level, and any discrepancies in the wire length up to about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16 could easily be compensated for without the whole thing being like or something crazy like that. Now let's go jump over there and I'll show you guys actually how. Okay, so bear with me if I'm a little hard to see here as I'm 6'2" and the board's pretty high up there, but these are the 2 mounting wires that I was talking about that attach to the end of the board over here. Now this board's about 5 foot long, and I would highly recommend that in the future I am going to add a second support down the middle. So far it isn't bowing very much, but then again I only have very lightweight models on here, but I can definitely tell the board is dipping a little bit. If you guys do have any more questions about this project, please let me know. It was relatively easy to put together, so I'm figuring you guys should be able to figure it out pretty easily. That said, if you enjoyed this, do consider subscribing, as I've got more set updates and awesome things like that planned in the near future. Until then, I'm going to try and get out of here without killing myself, and I'll see you guys next time I'll Make It with Calvin. Man, this is tight.